This lesson focuses on a task 2 essay type where you have to discuss causes and solutions to some kind of problem. Let's take a look at this essay type. Okay, first we'll begin with some sample questions. Number 1. These days, many people develop health problems due to lack of exercise. Why don't people exercise enough? And what steps should these people take to get more physical activity? Okay, you can see we have a problem. The problem is that people have health problems because they're not getting enough exercise. Okay, so we start with a central issue, a central problem. And then in this question, this is a cause and solution question. The first part of the second sentence is asking you to explore the causes. What are the causes of lack of exercise these days? Okay, and then the second part of the question, that's where they're asking you for solutions. What steps should these people take to get more physical activity? Okay, so this is a common cause-solution question. Let's look at another example here. Social media has many positive uses, but there have been some negative consequences to it as well. Identify a problem caused by social media and describe the solutions you would propose to address this problem. Okay, another one where we have to look at causes and solutions. We're supposed to identify something caused by social media and then talk about how that problem could be solved in some way. So these are two questions that really fit the kind of standard model for these types of task 2 questions. Let's think about how to answer them, and then we'll look at some examples towards the end of the lesson. All right, some strategy. First of all, it is very, very important to read the directions on any task 2 question, but especially for these. There is a possibility in this question type that you will have to focus on some different things. For example, sometimes you're supposed to discuss causes and solutions. This is what we saw in the 2 example questions earlier, and this is the most common type for the IELTS. However, sometimes they only ask you for causes. Other times, they only ask you to write about solutions, okay? So you have to really focus on the question. Don't assume that you're supposed to write equally about causes and solutions in this essay type. Sometimes it's possible you would only need to focus on one side of the question there. Okay, so again, read the directions very carefully for this question type to know what to do. It's also important in this essay type to use very careful academic language, especially when you're providing your solutions to whatever issue you're describing, but of course also the causes as well. This is a very academic essay type most of the time, and so it's important to say things carefully like, one possible solution is, or one of the causes could be, right? By saying it this way, you're avoiding sounding overly certain that you have the one and only solution, or that you're explaining the one and only cause to the problem that you're talking about. That it does not sound academic because it sounds too certain and it's too simple. It seems like you're not really considering maybe all of the different things that could be causes or solutions to the problem. However, when you use careful language like this, one possible solution, that does not make it sound like you think you have the only solution to the problem, right? So use careful language. Use your modal verbs like would, could, should, okay? And that will help you to sound a little more academic as you're making proposals for this question type. Now, some more strategy to consider, just in terms of how to organize your writing. It's pretty straightforward for this essay type. If the prompt only asks you to identify causes and solutions, okay, so you have to write about both, then you can write 2 to 3 body paragraphs, okay? You need to have at least one paragraph explaining the causes and at least one paragraph explaining the solutions. Okay, later we're going to look at an example essay, and you'll see it's possible, it's perfectly fine to write 2 body paragraphs with solutions. If you can think of some more solutions than just will fill 1 paragraph, that's fine. However, you should only add this additional paragraph, of course, after you've made sure to also include a paragraph on the causes. Okay, so at a minimum, you write 1 paragraph with causes, 1 paragraph with solutions, and you may choose whether you want to add another paragraph. You can add a second paragraph with causes, or a second paragraph with solutions. That's perfectly fine to do, but it is optional. Okay, now, if the prompt asks you to identify only solutions or only causes, then it's a similar sort of thing. You can write 2 to 3 body paragraphs. Each body paragraph should present a different solution or a different cause, okay? And that should be the main content of your body paragraphs in that type of essay, okay? So read the directions carefully and write 2 to 3 body paragraphs for this essay type, depending on what they ask you to do. Let's look at some examples now. Starting with the first example question we had at the beginning of the lesson. Just to review it again, these days many people develop health problems due to lack of exercise. Why don't people exercise enough? And what steps should these people take to get more physical activity? Let's take a look at how to organize this. All right, starting with a thesis statement here. All right, we're going to outline for an essay with 2 body paragraphs. And in the left side, you see the kind of thesis we could use to introduce these body paragraphs. It reads, "The pressures of modern life sometimes make getting enough exercise difficult. Therefore, people must be creative and find opportunities to get exercise." Here we have a 2-sentence thesis. That's possible sometimes, especially when you're trying to split ideas like this into causes and solutions. You could write a long, complex sentence, or, as you see in this case, divide it into 2 sentences, okay? Now, we've indicated that we're going to write about, in body paragraph 1, that the reason it's difficult to get exercise these days is due to the pressures of modern life. Okay, so then we see in body paragraph 1 some explanation for the pressures of modern day life and why they cause people to not get enough exercise. Okay, so in this paragraph, we could write about what you see is 2 things there, basically. The first at the top is work, right? Jobs that require long periods of sitting. Okay, many people work at desks or in jobs that do not require any kind of movement. So that would be a cause of not getting enough exercise that relates to this idea of the pressures of modern day life. Okay. A second one there is lack of time. Okay. People don't have time to get the places they need to go. So, for example, they drive to commute into work. Many people could possibly take a walk to get to work or ride a bicycle if they had more time. But they don't, so they need to get in their car and go. Again, a reason for lack of exercise related to modern life. And finally, then, we could write about how people work long hours, right? So there's no time to go to the gym or do something for physical activity because all of the day is spent working or taking care of family or whatever it is that you think to write about there. Okay, so body paragraph 1 focusing on these causes related to the pressures of modern life. All right, then secondly, the idea for solutions is that people need to get creative and they need to find opportunities for exercise. So body paragraph 2 then focuses on this type of solution, creating opportunities for getting physical activity. There are 3 ideas listed there. Take exercise breaks during the day, okay? Instead of taking a long lunch break, maybe you take a short lunch break and then go get some exercise at lunchtime. A second one, people could, even if they're driving, people could park far away from their work and then take a few minutes to walk in, right? So maybe they have to drive for 30 minutes, but then they park a 15-minute walk away from their office, and then they walk in and walk back to their car after the day is done. That would be a way to create opportunities for exercise. Finally, then at the bottom, people could take the stairs. If they have an elevator to get up to the 10th floor, think how good it would be to walk all of those stairs all the way up and get that kind of exercise. These are solutions based on finding opportunities to get exercise, okay? And that's what we see in the thesis statement. So this is an example of how one could organize the thoughts for this essay into 2 body paragraphs, okay? Let's look now at the second example. And this one is about social media, okay? We're supposed to identify a problem caused by social media and describe solutions that we would propose to address the problem. All right, so you need to think of something. What problem does social media cause? Well, one problem could be online bullying, right? Kids who bully each other online. This is a common problem, at least in the country where I live, the United States, right? So let's think of a thesis first. Let's assume that this is our problem, and we need to think of how social media causes online bullying, and then what solutions we would propose to address this problem. Here's a thesis related to that idea. Parents and educators should counteract this trend, okay, online bullying is the trend, by teaching kids about the seriousness of bullying and communicating openly about what children experience online. All right, here's an example of how we have a 1-sentence thesis statement that covers both causes and solutions for the essay we're going to write. All right, now in this essay, which you can, by the way, see down below, there's the full essay is written out for you there. Here's how we're organizing the thoughts. First of all, in paragraph 1, we need to talk about causes. Social media has led to online bullying. All right, and you can see in the essay that we're explaining that idea a little bit, how social media causes online bullying because people communicate differently over social media than they would face-to-face. And secondly, social media brings people together in a new way that has never been really experienced before social media was invented. And this dynamic of bringing all the young people together, middle schoolers or high schoolers together in this space is something that makes online bullying possible in a new way. Okay, so paragraph 1 describes causes, right? Paragraphs 2 and 3 then describe solutions, okay? First one, raising awareness about the seriousness of bullying. That's one solution. So teaching kids about how serious bullying can be might get them to stop the practice of online bullying. Secondly, then, the third body paragraph is suggesting that parents should do their best to communicate openly about online activity with their kids. Here's a general recommendation explaining how, parents should not just let their kids into social media and leave them alone and assume that everything is going to be okay. A solution to the problem is to create open communication with young people about what they're doing online. And this could be a good solution to